All right, lads, here we are again. So, someone said to me, what did you used to do, when you weren't going to the Rovers? What else did you do in Birkenhead at that time? Well, when I was growing up, we had, I can think of 6 cinemas. There might have been more, I can think of 6. The Gaumont, which was down the bottom of Park Road East, which was our local, used to go there on a Saturday morning. Oh, I think all the cinemas had a Saturday morning club, and you'd have cereal, you had Flash Gordon, Hopalong Cassidy, the cowboy, Hopalong Cassidy. They used to call Reagan Hopalong, didn't they? And then you'd have some cartoons. It was mayhem in there sometimes. It was like the Monkey House, there'd be all sorts of people chucking stuff out the balcony, and the manager would come out, and stop the film. You kids, you up in the balcony up there. If you don't calm down, I'm chucking you all out. You can all go, especially you lads. All the girls can stay, and the lads, you can all go. And they'd give him the Bronx cheer, and they'd carry on. And he never did chuck anyone out. But I mean, it was funny. And then they'd have a talent contest every now and again, talent contest. There was always someone who wanted to dance or sing or something, and they're all like 10, 11. But in those days, I mean, you're 13 or 14, you're still a kid, So, but I had a mate at school, Colin MacDonald. Now, I can't remember. I don't think he was Scottish, but he could play the accordion, so he might have been. And he was really good on the accordion. We were all 9 and 10, and he'd been playing since he was really small. And he won the talent contest at the Gaumont. And his prize was a poster loader for 2 shillings. Well, actually, it's 10p now, 2 shillings. So, but the thing is, like 2 shillings would have got you into about 6 games of Tranmere, maybe more, So it was good. It was a good laugh. And then actually, I saw my first grown-up picture at the Gaumont, Spartacus with Kirk Douglas. Now, my dad he loved the Romans. My dad, big fan of the Romans. He had a favourite legion. Can't remember which one, 20th or something. But he loved best of all. So anyway, anything with the Romans in, Ben Hur. So now that we're off we went out, so we went to see Spartacus. Now, I don't know whether you know Spartacus. It's the slaves revolt in Rome, and those. So at the end, the Romans, they round them all up, and they said, "We want Spartacus. We want Spartacus. The rest of you can, you can go, but we want Spartacus." So one of them starts up and he says, "I'm Spartacus." And the Romans go, and then another one goes, "I'm Spartacus." And in the end, they're all going, "I'm Spartacus, I'm Spartacus." So the Romans crucify all of them. Now, so there was a big scene at the end where there's a road going into Rome and there's all these crosses. So we were out before that. My dad knew that was coming, so he didn't want me to see that. But so that was Spartacus. The last film, it changed from being a cinema into a bingo hall. About 1963, something like that. And the last film they showed was Journey to the Centre of the Earth. I think Robert Taylor. But another one that I really liked, but not long before it closed, there was a film called The Time Machine. Do you remember The Time Machine? And that was Rod Taylor. And he was on Australian Rod. That was a good film, The Time Machine. And Rod Taylor was in that. And he's Australian. He's playing H.G. Wells or something because he's narrating it like. But he was in lots of films. And he had quite a strong Australian accent. And he played Sir Francis Drake in one film. It's Francis Drake with an Australian accent. And he used to stand with his arms akimbo, He was an action man. But Rod Taylor. I'll never forget him. He was in Treasure Island, I think, as well. Yeah. So anyway, then you'd go down the road from the Gaumont and onto Conway Street, and you went past the Super and the Empire. And I think then the Empire became the Majestic. ballroom, I think I'm right there. The Beatles played there about 20 times, at the Majestic. And then round the corner from there, you had the Savoy. ABC began near Savoy. And the thing I remember about the Savoy, because they used to have the Pearl and Dean adverts, the big adverts. But they had local adverts as well. And they'd be on slides, and they'd have something like, so there'd be a slide that'd come up and a voice would say, 50 yards from this theatre, the Capitol Restaurant. And there was this Chinese restaurant, it's still there, over the road from the Savoy. And there'd be a bloke serving people, And the other one I remember, the other advert was there was a place around there. It was like a wrecker's yard, and they'd go out and collect. If there was a car crash, they'd go out with the truck and a crane on the back, and they'd bring the wreck in. And they had a photograph of the recovery vehicle with the crane on the back. It was a beat up old thing, And they'd put this on the screen, and then the voice would go, "Our motto is you crash them, we cash them." And you crash them, we cash them. I was thinking, this was in the cinema. So, you're thinking, oh yeah, I must remember the next time I have a crash, I'll have to call these out. So then you went back down Argyle Street and up at Clawton Road, and there was the Ritz. The Ritz was a lovely cinema. It was only been rebuilt in the 50s because it took a direct hit in the war, terrible really. About 1940, and there was an air raid, and they decided to keep the customers in. I don't know who decided to do that, but a bomb landed on the cinema, and there was loads of killed and injured. And and my granddad was a fire warden, and he they'd be spotting my grandmother, she was in the cinema called the Astor up near Charing Cross. The Astor was on the bottom of Atherton Street, opposite where they built the Methodist Church. And the Astor had been a music hall, and then a variety theatre, and then a cinema. And she was in there, and he went in and he got her out because of the air raid, But the other cinema, the Ritz, that got smacked. So then you went up Borough Road and you had the Plaza, and there was the Roxy, the bottom of Whetstone Lane. That had turned into a bingo hall by then. And then up in Bevington Road towards the Oval, there was the Regal. And that was, I used to meet my cousin there. He lived near Port Sunlight, and we'd meet there. It was kind of halfway, and we'd go to pictures at the Regal. And that was a nice one. So there were a lot of really good cinemas. And good films, good films. But we also had, one time, Billy Smart's Circus came to Birkenhead. Billy Smart Circus, now, Billy Smart. I mean, he was a great showman, and he was a big bloke, and he used to wear a safari suit and a big hat, and he had a swagger cane, And I remember when they came to Birkenhead, it must have been about 50, so I was about 6 or 7, something like that. And they put the big top on a bomb site down by the docks. And anyone who knows the area, Price Street, I think it was. And Billy Smart Circus, and it was a huge big top, it was massive. And I don't know, sometimes circuses came by train. I mean, I've seen photographs of elephants being put on the train. Because you imagine moving a circus around by road. I mean, it's going to take a lot of vehicles, isn't it? Anyway, however they came, they had a parade. Billy, I like the parade, Billy. Billy Smart loved the parade. And they used to have parades in the circus. He got a big enough circus so you could have a parade around the ring. So they paraded up Clawton Road and then round and then down Park Road East off down towards Price Street. And it was amazing, because they had a band. The circus had a band. I mean, old Billy used to conduct the band sometimes. And he'd be walking in front with his safari suit on and his hat and stick, and he had a huge cigar, the biggest cigar you've ever seen, walking along, waving to people with the stick. And they had a Wild West show. They had folks dressed as cowboys, some dressed as Indians, and then the animals came. And because we thought the animals liked it. We thought they enjoyed it, and it was only years later when we realised that they didn't. But then Billy Smart to be fair to him, he had an idea that, well, I'll tell you what, he at the end of the show, he came out to make a speech, you know. He says, oh, Birkenhead, it's been marvellous. Been marvellous. I'll make you a promise. He said, we'll be back next year. You'll never saw him again. Never came again. But what he did, he bought an estate near Windsor, and that became Windsor Safari Park. That was his idea. It's Legoland now, I think. But his idea was that you'd have these big safari parks. So, Billy, you know, he was quite a big showman, really. And, they were great. So you had the cinemas. Billy Smart, he came. So, you know, so there's loads more. I mean, and I think another time I'll probably tell you a bit about some of the other things we did, you know, because, we were never short of something to do, you know. Anyway, all the best.